I'm so excited for having this conversation, kind of fireside chat without a fire or afternoon chat with Donnalynn Riley. But let me first introduce Miss Riley, Joy Coach. Donnelly has been in the space of pursuing joy, I think, all your life. But it's amazing the work that she's doing with especially women, but with people to find their joy or to reclaim it. So I know, Donnelly, you've been coaching business people to become masters of their emotions, communication, relationships, and success for over a decade. My accent is all weird today. From a career on Broadway to being CEO of a multimillion-dollar corporation, your own journey has helped you understand and create strategies for managing yourself and surpassing every single goal. You've been featured in Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS, and you're the host of the Finding Your Spark podcast. Welcome, Donnalynn.
Thank you so much.
As we are, as everybody knows, in this world of digital platforms, we were hoping to go live in LinkedIn, but the universe has a different plan and we're pre-recording. And I think that's going to give us a more stable conversation as far as technology goes. But that doesn't mean there's going to be that doesn't mean that it won't be a lot of magic in this conversation. So I want to get started with your journey. How do we get to today talking with me about your work? What does that journey look like?
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head when you said I've really been searching my whole life for that, right? So I remember there was a moment when I was a teenager and I was crouching in the corner of a stall of a horse because we rode horses, sitting with the horse thinking, I just don't know how to do this life. I can't figure out how to be successful and happy all the time. How do I please everybody and please me at the same time? And it's a moment I've gone back to over and over again, decade after decade, as I've learned and educated myself and really brought myself through all of the different ways that you can do it, right? So you start proving yourself, you start trying to please everybody else. And then you get to this place where you go like, okay, we need a new plan, right? And for me, that plan came in 2007, where my world got turned on its head from a health issue in my family, and he just looked at me and said, "You have to figure it out. I'm putting my life in your hands." And I thought, "Ooh, I'd better figure it out, right?" And so at that moment, we learned so much about body, mind, and spirit connection, and what the body's truly capable of. But it really wasn't until these last few years that I understood that joy was the basis. Unconditional joy is the basis of how we walk through all of the good times and all of the bad times. And that really came from walking through a portal of massive change that takes people out usually, and getting to the other side and saying to myself, wow, okay, that was not what people describe. What did I do that most people don't do?
I love that. And it is 2023. I've been watching the series The Blue Zones. Have you watched in Netflix? And that's what you just reminded me, because this is a Netflix series about places that what's his name? Daniel, the host. He goes and finds places in the world. Most of them are small towns or small, tiny villages where people live to over 100 in a very healthy way. And when you just said joy, one of the things, I haven't finished it yet, but what I've learned so far is all of these people he's interviewing, they look joyful. Their lives look joyful. They don't have a lot of money. It's not about the big size of the house. None of that. There's a lot of community involved, which I'm sure you're going to talk about that. And there's a lot of belonging and purpose, which I'm sure you're going to talk about that as well. But I love that concept that we pursue so many things, but few of us even think about pursuing joy. And what you're saying is, if you pursue joy, everything else unlocks. Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do love the Blue Zones conclusions and have the cookbooks and everything,
Oh.
Uh, and I feel like that's so we've been in this time period in history where we've cut away the high performers and the low performers in our scientific discoveries, and we've said, how are the middle of the platform doing, and really to say, hey, wait a minute, now don't we want the results of the high performers? So let's go study that. Let's go figure out how they did it, why they did it is so important. And being able to tap into that joy, that unconditional soul level joy, right? Peace, joy, and freedom. They are a process. They're not just related to each other. They're a process you get from peace to joy to freedom. And when you can do that internally, then you can be in a community in a way where it's not full of guilt and triggers for you, right? It's not full of memories of a painful past or a trepidatious future. You're really present, and you can contribute to that community and receive from that community in a way that can be playful and fun and joyous. Right. And finding that is the trick, right? Because we haven't been raised to do this. We've been raised to do the opposite. We've been raised to jump through the hoop. So that's really the work, is how do we do it where we're not up nights thinking about like what the problems are and how to solve them, or even up nights not knowing why we're up, right? How many nights have you spent like that? I don't know. I'm just not tired. Yeah. Right. Free floating anxiety. Yeah. And so when we are able to say, hey, I'm willing to move past this, and I'm willing to face whatever it takes to move past this in my life, to prioritize joy in a way where the rest of my life can fall into place, it's a whole new lifetime for you.
I love that. And you mentioned the word work, which I think is, we're going to use it loosely because I don't think you define work the way people define work. But let's talk about your work. Let's talk about, you've built a business around this. What does that look like? What does a business of guiding people to joy look like?
Well, it's amazing how, people really feel like it's hard. They feel like it's really hard. And the payoff.
But somehow the concept of effort and joy, I don't think they go in the same sentence. So please help me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I think it's true that we really have a situation in our culture where, when you ask somebody how do they find joy, they'll say things like, I go for a run, or my kids amuse me and that makes me laugh. And they find the moments where they're being given joy, but they haven't learned to generate joy. And when you can generate joy, right? When you can tap into something internal, regardless of your circumstances, then your whole life can change. And that's really, when you think about why and how I have a business around this, that's the key, is that none of those things that you're looking for can come to you, that you can't match up with them, right? You can chase and chase and chase, but you'll still be just looking for those little sparks of joy that happen throughout the day and going, yeah, no, I have a good life, and internally be thinking, why am I not happier about this? Why am I not completely satisfied? Why do I feel like something's missing? Right?
So how do we turn on our internal joy?
Yeah, it's so amazing. So there is a process, right? That's the amazing part, is that there is an easy process. Easy meaning it doesn't come in
Doable.
Greek. It doesn't, yeah, it's not, I'm not going to tell you in Greek or some language you don't know, but it is, it does mean that you're jumping off a cliff to get there, right? You have to be willing to step into the discomfort in order to face these things. So the very first thing you do is to raise that awareness, right? So you can assess, what are these feelings that I'm having and why am I pushing them down? Right? You got to dig a little bit and say, hey, if I have dissatisfaction, what's really going on? Right? So awareness, and awareness of your internal story and awareness of your external story of how you've set your life up. Right. And so then to move from there to a place, I'm going to just go through the structure
Yes,
really
please.
quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take
Um,
notes.
to move from there to the structure to a place of detachment, a place of peace, a place of knowing that everything is okay, even if all of those things are true, right? Then you can really work with yourself, because now you're in conversation with your own self as opposed to only being in conversation with the world, right? And then to move from there to deliberate alignment. So how we become aligned, we can use tools. We have lots and lots of tools that bring us into alignment, and to practice those, to understand emotional entrainment, to practice becoming joyous so that you know how to do it. It's the same thing as watching a scary movie. And then at night, when the lights are out and you hear a bump, you're scared. Of course you are. You practiced, right? So
Yeah.
really doing that.
So walk me through it. Like, I'm your client. How do we start?
How do we start? How do we start? Well, we really start with that assessment level, right? So to really take a look at your life and see what's going on there. You can do it several ways. You can do it with a notebook on your own. There are a few questions that you really want to ask yourself. I do have an online quiz that will help you through it. So that makes it easy. And that is at joyroadmap.com.
And we're going to put the link with this video. So
Yeah.
don't worry if you're driving, don't stop. If the audience is driving, like, don't stop. We'll put the link. You can get it later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that'll walk you through some fun questions. And the fun questions are really where you're going to find out some answers about yourself. And then to really, take that and understand it as if it is a roadmap, right? Because we cannot get from depression to blissful joy in one leap. Right? We got to get out our little emotional car and start driving through anger and revenge and irritation and frustration. And how long we stop along the way is up to us, right? So really tapping into that and then answering those questions honestly, and then we make a plan from that quiz. You'll get a plan and you'll be able to make a call directly with me that is free of charge, and you can get on the phone. We can flesh out your plan entirely so that you can do it, right? And you can have that plan to follow.
I love that. And so, but I say, let's say I'm your client, or I'm exploring this. I say, well, that sounds so wonderful, but I really need to grow my business to feed my family. I don't have time for joy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not in my agenda. Like, I have a responsibility to put food on the table. So how can we do it faster, or can I skip this path?
Yeah. So it's a great question. When I think about the results that my clients have gotten, they not only have gotten married after decades of being too afraid to commit, right? But they have also built businesses faster. They've tripled businesses income. They have aligned with international publications, right? They've gotten published in multiple countries. So the things that you can do when you're in that alignment, they are what we used to think of as magical, right? They are beyond what we think is easy. They are the things we think you have to know somebody for, or we say things like it takes money to make money, right? No, it takes alignment.
Joy,
Make
alignment.
money.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love and you made a reference. You said joy, something, and then freedom. What was the middle one?
Peace, joy, and freedom.
Joy, peace, freedom. So what I'm
Peace,
hearing,
joy, and freedom. Peace, joy, and
peace,
freedom.
joy,
And
and
the
freedom.
reason that I'm talking about peace is that is really that space of stillness within us, right? That is a space where we are we are a pond, right? We are okay. We are not good and not bad. We are at peace. We
Neutral.
feel no reason to move forward or look backward, right? And that is the starting place, because it's very hard to feel true joy when we're in turmoil, right?
Yeah.
Somebody can make you laugh, right? You can see
Yeah,
something,
but
your
that's
kids
not
or grandkids.
self-generated. I think
No,
big thing
that's
that I'm
right.
getting here is you can have a moment of joyful feeling for something that happens outside, and it's that little moments like a baby cooing or your pet doing something quick cute. But what we are talking here is how to be the creator of our own joy from the inside out.
That's right.
And I
And
can
we can
see
only get to that through that moment of
of
peace.
peace. I love
Yeah.
that.
So the mind has to quiet, the heart has to open, and we have to be able to get to a place of stillness within. And once we do that, then what you'll find there with just a little bit of tools, right, is that there is just unbelievable, unspeakable joy. And from joy, we have that freedom that you're asking for, right? Because that's what the world is. That's where we feel trapped, right? Because we're spirits walking around in bodies, and there's money and there's houses and it's hard and we're trying to figure it out, right? And that freedom element doesn't really come in until we can really generate the joy ourselves. Once we can do that, then we can access the ability to connect with people that we could speak with and who will tell their people about us, right? So that's one way that I connect with people, and then I get to have more business, right? So these are the ways it works.
I love that. Let's talk about that. Who are your clients and where do you find them?
Yeah, so I love to speak, and as you well know, and I'm really fortunate to have good representation and be able to do that in a lot of places. So that's one really great way that clients come from to me. But also word of mouth, and of course these online tools, that these are so basic and they're free and you can go and get them. There's guides and tools and all the things on my website. So it's all there, that helps you to kind of go in that direction. And really, I end up working with people who are high achievers, who have figured out what they think the world wanted of them and how to do it, right? So they're already walking a walk that's like, oh yes, like I did. I went to Broadway when I was 19 years old. Okay, I did that. I figured out how to get some energy swirling around achievement in the world. But then to really say, okay, now what? Now what? Because it's an endless monster that will keep you going, and the adrenaline will keep going. And eventually, it's not going to look good on your body, right? We're going to be in doctor's offices. And even if we're not, we might be in divorce court, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
And
those are great clients for me when people are in that space where they're like, I know how to do life, I just don't know how to do
to
life.
enjoy it. I just don't know
Yeah.
how to enjoy it and how to feel the freedom. Um, what are you most excited in your business coming up in the next year?
Oh, I am so excited about, I am just opening a year-long mastermind. And this is really because I've had clients say to me, I want to go deeper, right? I have other products, I have other ways that I connect with people. And certainly if that's the level that you're at, where you need a meditation or you need a certain tool to use, there's plenty of that available. But here we're really going to go deep and go for the full year, where you can really not just find it, but practice it. And then when life comes along and goes, oh, yeah, well, but this is happening now. Oh, yeah, well, but that is happening now. You have all the support you need to get through that, right? And to stay in joy.
I love that. I love that. Um, what's a book, podcast, or maybe even a Netflix series that everybody should check out?
Well, of course, I want to say my own.
Of course, of course.
Of course, you should go to findingyour sparkagain.com and check it out. Now, in addition to that, though, I will say that there are so many people in this space talking about how the body, mind, and spirit work together. One of the podcasts that I really adore is actually Lewis Howe's School of Greatness.
Ah,
And I adore it because there are so many different representations, right? So there's never one way to get there. There's one way that speaks to you to get there.
yes, yes. I love that. Not everybody is everything for everybody. Each
Mm,
one of us have to find our messenger.
yeah.
Um, so I know you're very busy and I don't want to keep you. What action can our listeners take right now to begin their process?
This is a great question. So the first thing I do, of course, is to go to the quiz. It's free. Go there and assess yourself. Really ask yourself those questions. They're silly questions, so you're going to be want to just play with them, right? But really be honest with yourself about it. Use it as an opportunity to find your growth, and it's a great place to start. The other thing that I would say, though, is to find ways to calm down the nervous system. So one of the tools that I adore giving away to people for free all the time is a hand movement that activates the nervous system in a specific way where it will really calm anxiety, nervousness, worry, and stress. So you have trouble going to bed at night, you do this. So what you do is take your hand like this, you fold in your pinkies, yeah, and put your thumb over your pinky and your ring finger, and now you've got, yeah, perfect, you've got it. So two fingers up, now point them down, point them at the ground. You can do it with two hands, you can do it with one hand. It's an awesome triage tool, right? When somebody is screaming at you and you don't know what to do and you think, I really want to scream back, this is a great way to just allow that energy to move through without sticking.
I love that. My puppies were barking, so I wanted to make sure it didn't interrupt us. I love that. So peace out, down.
Peace out, down.
I love
Exactly.
that. Well, Donnelly, thank you so much. Please remind us of the URL where they go to down to get the quiz.
Yes, donnalynn.blog.
Perfect. And I will put that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much. Any parting words?
You know, I will just say, when I was making my album, Meditations on Earth, my nephew, who was about 12 at the time, wanted to come with me. And we had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go out, and the bugs are biting you, and it's the dawn, and all the things. And as I laid there thinking about, when I woke up, I thought, I just think I should just forget to go. It's going to be really hard for him. It's so cold outside. I don't know. And if you're in that position where you're uncomfortable, but it seems like more effort than it's worth to make the change, I will say that the fact that I got up that day and I got that little boy up that day made lifetime memories, right? It brought joy to both of us. It made a union where there wasn't one. And these are the benefits of being willing to be uncomfortable for a little while so that you can get to that joy and freedom.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.